From Cardinal Television Studio, I'm Madison Kelly with your official news brief. President Joe Biden will lay out the first part of his plan for gun control, with 6 executive actions in the works. Britt Conway breaks down each of those with a look at what's next.
I don't need to wait another minute, let alone an hour, to take common sense steps that will save the lives in the future.
It's a commitment President Joe Biden made after the recent mass shootings in Atlanta and in Boulder. The White House says Biden will lay out 6 initial actions today. First, a rule tightening restrictions on so-called ghost guns, which are handmade or self-assembled firearms that don't have serial numbers. Second, a rule restricting pistol stabilizing braces, which make weapons more stable and accurate. Third, suggesting red flag legislation for states, laws that allow family or police to have the court temporarily take guns away from people who might hurt themselves or others. Fourth, money for community violence interventions. Fifth, an annual report on firearms trafficking. And sixth, nominating a gun control advocate to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, David Chipman. Take a listen to what he had to say in 2019 on weapons regulations.
My time as a federal law enforcement officer taught me that although all weapons can be dangerous in the wrong hands, some weapons are particularly lethal and should be more strictly regulated.
From here, it's up to the Justice Department, which has between 30 and 60 days to write the rules for ghost guns and stabilizing braces, and the suggested red flag laws. I'm Britt Conway, reporting.
The White House says today's announcement is just the beginning. From here, they say the plan is to apply pressure on lawmakers for further action on more sweeping measures, like a ban on assault weapons and universal background checks. More than 500,000 people have signed up for Affordable Care Act coverage so far in an extra enrollment period. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says 528,000 people signed up between February 15th and March 31st. The period runs through August 15th. The Biden administration created the special enrollment period on top of the regular yearly period in the fall to help people during the pandemic. 8.2 million people signed up last fall. The 528,000 signed up in the 36 states that use healthcare.gov. Another 14 states run their own healthcare exchanges. You might be following the murder trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin from wherever you are in this country. In Minneapolis, people are right in the middle of it. That has some children and youth feeling overwhelmed and confused. Lorenzo Hall has this insight from people trying to help them.
After months of marching following the death of George Floyd, this 15-year-old says Derek Chauvin's trial is just too much.
I don't know. I'm just seeing these things too much. It's like, and I'm only 15. So like, I'm just seeing this stuff nonstop.
Azri Yeager says it's re-traumatizing and is trying to take a step back from the TV.
As sad as it is to say, it's like at this point I'm numb. Like, I don't know how to feel.
Teens like Azri have been at the forefront of many protests against racial injustice, and now, with Chauvin's trial underway, community groups and organizers are asking those teens to check in.
We are really focused on Black mental health.
This organizer, Isak Dua, was helping lead some of those teens during the summer. He took part in a panel put on by the Legal Rights Center to make sure teens have the right mindset moving forward.
Young people, we have all this energy and we feel like it's, go, go, go time all the time. And like I said, it's really easy to give too much and not pour back into yourself. So pacing myself and making sure I spend time with my family and my loved ones and, taking it in strides. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
He's not the only one helping teens and children right now. So is this counselor known as the Teen Whisperer.
People are wondering, is this trial going to turn out the right way? But we have to ask ourselves, what is the right way?
Jason Clopton says he's seen more young clients in recent months, many worried about the outcome of this trial, especially if Chauvin is convicted.
Are there going to be race wars in school where there's tension, where they had friendships with students of opposite color, and now there's this tension between them that they don't know how to explain? There's concern in multiple ways about the outcome of this trial, and we can't look at it one-sided.
Jason is encouraging parents to have open conversations with children based on the facts of this trial. As for Azri, he's trying to focus on his own well-being before Chauvin's trial ends.
The world we live in, I have to be prepared for it to not be a great outcome and be prepared for protests again.
Chauvin is charged with second and third degree murder in the death of George Floyd. Rapper will.i.am is hoping people will want to make a statement with his new $300 face mask. The Black Eyed Peas member announced this week he's teaming up with Honeywell to launch the Super Mask. It's got tons of bells and whistles, including dual 3-speed fans, air filters, Bluetooth connectivity, and LED day glow lights. The mask also has noise-canceling audio, microphone capabilities, 7 hours of battery life, and an earbud docking system. One of the mask designers is Jose Fernandez. He helped create Elon Musk's SpaceX suits. The high-tech face gear hasn't been approved by the Food and Drug Administration, but the agency has authorized it for emergency use. The mask is set to release on supermask.com Thursday. Critics thirsting to catch former President Trump breaking his own Coca-Cola boycott think they found photographic evidence. CNN's Jeannie Moose reports on a half-hidden bottle that looks familiar.
You may see a picture of a former president smiling at his desk, but others were smiling at what they saw half hidden behind the phone. It was circled, pointed at by arrows, labeled in a rectangle. Just a few days earlier, former President Trump had called for a boycott of Coca-Cola and other companies that opposed a Georgia voting law. Don't go back to their products until they relent, said his statement. And now, can you find the hidden Diet Coke in this photo?
It's the real thing.
Defenders weren't convinced it was the real thing. No one can verify that's actually a Coke bottle, but it sure looked familiar. Boycott for thee, not for me, posted someone. Trump's Coke bottle be like Shaquille O'Neal trying to hide behind a tree. The photo was posted by visiting former Trump advisor Stephen Miller, and people found lots to chuckle about, like the statue of Trump himself behind his Mar-a-Lago desk. But the possible boycott-busting Coke got the most attention. After all, this is a guy
12 Diet Cokes, right?
Known for his massive daily intake. Until President Biden moved it, presidents for years have had a button on the Oval Office desk to summon a butler. But for President Trump, that button seemed dedicated.
He had a Diet Coke button on his desk in the Oval Office. The man urinates aspartame, okay?
Are critics grasping at straws? A sensible boycott doesn't require the destruction of already purchased goods. This ain't a tea party. No, it's always been a Diet Coke party for Donald Trump. He's even been caught on tape ordering.
Give me a Coke, please.
He's always had a habit of pushing his Coke around, but critics say he didn't push this one far enough to hide it.
Things go better with Coke.
Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
And Coke refreshes you best.
When you take on an internship, you probably expect to do some grunt work, but it's highly unlikely that you expect to be dropped down a sinkhole. Davey Sutton has a story in today's Take a Look at This.
We're used to interns getting coffee and other entry-level tasks. But this Colorado intern was dropped inside of a 30-foot sinkhole to help save a life. Alex Conlan has been an intern with Leadville Lake County Fire Rescue for 2 years and was one of the first to respond, where a man fell into a sinkhole near his storage unit. It was likely an old mine shaft disguised by snow and ice. The man who fell is recovering, and the hole will be sealed off soon. There's a saying that real queens fix each other's crowns. Well, here's the tea from the Mrs. Sri Lanka beauty pageant, where one queen got her crown snatched.
There's a rule that you all have to be married and not divorced.
This awkward moment right after Pushpika De Silva was named the winner. Then last year's queen takes the crown, gives it to the runner-up. De Silva does the walk of shame off the stage, but later claps back on social media saying she is not divorced, but separated. The crown was returned to her later. For Take a Look at This, I'm Davey Sutton.
That's it for today's news. For Fisher News Brief, I'm Madison Kelly.